Whenever a coach gets fired, there's the list. Every coach knows the list. Back 5 years ago, so-and-so did this. And the list is always there. And sometimes the list comes from a former player. I'll never forget, I came to a mutual agreement to leave Bowling Green. And that night, I never slept so well. Phone rings, middle of the night. I knew the kids were in bed. I knew my wife was right there. I'm like, uh-oh. I get a call from a walk-on that I had been great to. Gave him a scholarship, the whole 9 yards. He couldn't play dead. I actually played him because that's kind of who I was. Well, Coach, I'm being arrested for DUI. Can you help me? Because he knew the police and I were tight. I said, hey, Brian, you coming from that party you all had celebrating me getting fired? Yeah. Hey, I ain't helping you. Call the damn AD. You're so happy. Click. Went right to bed. Yeah, that's right. So now, here come the players. In the modern world that we live in, Brian Kelly didn't kiss players' ass, which made him successful. You're always going to have players, particularly in football. When you got like 100 guys a year, you're always going to have some dudes that really like you, some dudes that kind of like you, some dudes that hate you, and some dudes that kind of hate you. And some guys that just don't give a rat's ass. Yeah, I'm in the middle. I don't care. He's a coach. What are you going to do? Well, when you're Brian Kelly and you got some punks, you're going to catch some heat. You're going to catch some shrapnel. Whenever a coach gets fired, you do. You hear from everything. You hear the list. I remember this big gal that was the writer for the Toledo Blade. Man, I think she went back to my first year at Bowling Green when kids boycotted. She had mentioned we won the next game and turned that group into champions. But, hey, that's all right. I get it. Every bad thing is coming out. Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's an easy target. Some guy named Matthew Langlois. He's a former defensive back. He unloaded on Kelly in a now-deleted tweet. Langlois must have been pissed off at Kelly for some reason, because this is the first time Langlois, or whatever the hell this little guy's name is, he's tweeted, I was forced to medically retire before I could get a second or third opinion. No, you weren't. No, that's a lie, Langlois. Nobody has ever forced a player to retire, or no one has ever told a coach, or not been able to get a second opinion. Hey, look, what's everybody got to do? Hold you by the pee-pee and take you to a doctor? You don't like that opinion? Go get a second opinion. When I was playing well before my injury, I'd hear from Coach Kelly quite often, well, no shit. The second I got injured, not a word since. Generally one of the worst humans I've ever been around. Really? Interesting. So Kelly's supposed to kiss your ass. You guys talk about it as a business. You guys talk about it how, well, it's a business. I deserve blah, 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 blah. And everybody's supposed to kiss your ass? Hey, let me give you a life lesson. When I was a head coach in Indiana and we started out 2-0, my AD and I were meeting every Monday. Oh, it was great. Got our ass beat by Michigan State. Still met the next Monday. Beat Minnesota. Still met the next Monday. 3-1. What? Then we got beat by Penn State. No more meetings. Then we got beat in the Big Ten tournament. No more meetings. He's too busy. Hey, son, it's a life lesson. Get over it, you little sissy. No, you're not talking to me. He's mean to me. Oh, shut up. So he's become the bad guy here because why? All right, let's continue. Unless you're producing positively for him on the field, he could care less about you. Huh? He'd pass me in the hallways, not a glimpse, not a word. He's only in it for the money and himself. Absolutely ruined the culture of LSU football, and I hope people see the real Brian Kelly. Really? They saw the real you. Why'd you delete? Hey, stand up, son. You were forced, liar, to retire. No one forces you to retire. You want to keep playing. You want a second opinion. You don't like the doctor's opinion, Langlois. You go get a second opinion. And based on this picture, you're lucky to be on a grade school football team, much less a college football team, much less one in the SEC, much less one that's won national titles. No, I got to tell you, I was opposite of that When a guy got hurt, I went overboard, went to see him in the hospital, but that didn't make me a good person. I mean, there are plenty of players that'll tell you I'm a bad guy. I got one kid that still, to this date, tries to get me a cameo to apologize for kicking his ass out of Bowling Green. He became a Division II All-American or Division III or Division V, which is where he should have played. Apologize for nothing because I know in my heart I was doing the right thing by players. Maybe Kelly was a dick. Maybe Kelly was a jackass. So what? Get over it. You'll be all right. Let me give you a hint here, son. It's the way the world works. It is. I mean, good and bad. And frankly, 90% of the good comes when you perform well for a company. It just is. I mean, I didn't get any calls from ESPN until what? I had a little problem. Nobody was calling me and saying, damn, man, you're great on TV. I'd see a guy in the hall and they'd say, hey, man, great broadcast. You're the best, blah, 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 blah. But no one was calling me out of the blue. Boy, all of a sudden you get in a newspaper and you got a problem. Here come the calls. What's your problem, Langlois? I'm looking at you and I'm saying, you shouldn't even been on team. See, this is the problem. This is where Bob Knight was really smart. Bob Knight was smart in a lot of areas, one of which was until the end, and he really made a mistake, he never had walk-ons. Never wanted to have people around the program that weren't inherently going to be happy. By definition, weren't going to be happy, and walk-ons weren't going to be happy. We were the number one team in the country. Number one. We had like 6 pros on our team. Alan Henderson, pro. Greg Graham, first-round pick Henderson, first-round pick Graham, first-round pick Cheney, first-round pick Eric Anderson. And I know I'm forgetting a couple. Damon Bailey was the most highly noted player in the country at the time. Brian Evans, first-round pick, forgot about him. I mean, like 5 first-round picks, knock on the door, number one in the country. Here comes this walk-on in. Coach, wonder why I'm not playing. I play really well in practice, and I thought my boy was going to – well, he did. He threw a VCR against the wall. Our problem at Indiana was we had too many people around that were managers that couldn't wait to tell their buddies what was happening. See, you can't have that. You got to monitor who's in because snakes always come back at snakes, and that's what this Langlois is. No, honest to God, did the players ever call you out after the fact? I don't think so. One kid tried to say that he wouldn't have gotten the education that he got had I been the head coach, and I called him up. I said, you realize every kid at Bowling Green graduated with the degree they wanted, right? You realize every kid at Indiana that I was responsible. Oh, yeah, coach, no, that's fine, Matt. Mark, I'm sorry. No problem. But I'm just telling you. I mean, I don't mind comments. You can get mad I was too tough, I was too rough, whatever. I get it. But don't bullshit with that. And he apologized. But that's about it. I think that's it. Yeah. What are you going to do? What happened with me was people after I left realized how good they had it with me. Because most coaches are full of shit. I go back to Mark Jones saying you should vet. Mark Jones, the announcer for Fox, you should vet the coaches you play for. Boy, is that right. I mean, you go play for Chauncey Billups or you go play for Bruce Pearl. I don't know. Seems like one's better than the other, and he was talking about Bruce. I don't know. Seems like I'd rather play for Bruce, although Bruce criticized Obama. Oh, my God. All right, there are going to be several high-profile jobs available in the SEC, and commissioners working to have the NCAA rethink their decision to allow college players to gamble on sports. I love it. And I think, according to my guy, Davey, didn't you say that the NCAA has tabled this conversation? Didn't you say that this just came out, that the NCAA said, we're going to give this a little thought because, of course, the timing was ridiculous, Davey. What's going on here?
Yeah, Dan, the decision came out the day before the indictments were dropped on like Chauncey Billups and everybody involved in the NBA gambling scandal, that November 1st would be when this would take effect and college athletes would be able to bet on pro sports. Well, since everything has come out, you had this letter from Greg Sankey that has been tabled and pushed back to November the 22nd.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know we're not adverse to optics. Like a lot of people go with optics, right? Davey, the optics of letting people gamble on professional sports, because this is where the scandal is. Like, what was it, like 17 hours later it came out that the NCAA was doing this? I think you gave me some number, didn't you?
Yeah,
was it you or was it Nick?
No, yeah, it was roughly, somewhere in the 14 to 17 hour window as far as when it happened and when their decision, or after they made the decision to allow the betting.
Wow. That's bad optics. Good for Sankey. All right, here we go. In a memo sent to the NCAA last week, Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, urged the association to rescind its decision to permit college athletes to wager on professional sports. Now, remember, this is also coaches and administrators, too. Describing the move as a major step in the wrong direction after a discussion about the issue during their in-person meetings on October 13th, the presidents of the SEC and chancellors are clear and unified that the NCAA's move should be reversed. Sankey writes in a 2-page letter, which was obtained by Yahoo Sports, any concerns over the previous policy to prohibit athletes to bet on all sports should be addressed not through a wholesale removal of the guardrails, meaning let's not open this up, but careful refinement. These guys use such cute words of the policy the SEC contends. The reversal of the ban threatens the integrity of competition and makes athletes more vulnerable to exploitation. You think? And coaches. Don't forget coaches here. See, coaches can now, assistant coaches, graduate assistant, head coaches can now bet on professional sports. Don't just tell me this is all athletes. I'll tell you Chauncey Billups. Look, you hire a number of coaches in college that have no ethics whatsoever, that understand one simple thing. I cannot make more money than this anywhere else, so I am going to do whatever it is that I can do to make damn sure that I don't get fired for what? Losing. There is a saying in coaching, get fired for anything but losing, and you will find another job. Meaning, win big, get fired, somebody will hire you. Hell, Dave Bliss, who was the coach 25 years ago at Baylor that had one player murder the other, and Bliss, covered it up. There's tapes of him covering it up. He found another coaching job, not in college, but another coaching job. Think about that for a second. Covered up a murder. What are you, nuts? Anyway, man, oh man. So these coaches that are college coaches, a lot of them don't know a basketball is stuffed or blown up. A lot of them are players guys. Players guys. All right, anyway, any concerns over the previous policy should prohibit athletes to bet on all sports should be addressed through a wholesale removal of the guardrails, not careful refinement of the policy, the SEC contends. The reversal of the ban threatens the integrity of competition. Makes athletes more vulnerable to exploitation. Sankey writes, what might begin as casual betting can quickly spiral into something far more serious. Yes. And I don't even care. I don't care if anybody in college loses money gambling. I don't care about that. That's on them. See, I've always treated college athletes as adults. That's the wrong way to go about it, but I get it. So if you lose all your money, that's on you. What I don't want to see happen is what's happening in the NBA, more scandals, and it's inevitable. We already have 11, I believe, schools, including Eastern Michigan and some historically black colleges, under FBI investigation for players' involvement in gambling. And I will be shocked if coaches' involvement in gambling isn't out there as well. I will be stunned if it's not. I feel like it damn near has to be. And if you think I'm wrong, all you got to do is think of Chauncey Billups. I mean, honest to God. The SEC commissioner wanted to emphasize the SEC, this is Sankey, the SEC's presidents and chancellors believe the NCAA should restore its prior policy or a modified policy, communicating a prohibition on gambling by student athletes and athletic staff, regardless of the division level in sports. And as Davey and I just talked about, we got word that the NCAA has postponed implementation of a rule change that would permit athletes and staff to gamble on professional sports. Good. On Tuesday, the board of the Division I board voted to delay the effective date of this change, shifting it from November 1 to November 22. I do think that the NCAA will allow gambling. I do. I do. Now, it is very powerful that the SEC and Greg Sankey are doing this. It is very powerful. But ultimately, I think they do. See, what I think the NCAA is doing, and I hope I'm wrong, frankly, but I call it clearing the zone. They're clearing the zone and moving it 22 days, 25 days, 30 days on. They're clearing it to where the optics look better. This is why you're going to the middle of November. You notice they didn't say indefinitely. Had they said indefinitely, I would believe that they were moving in a direction to eliminate this idiocy. But they didn't. They didn't say indefinitely. They said till November 22nd. Now, what that allows them to do is to use what Mike Francis and others have said, including Kash Patel. It has allowed them to see if Patel, Francis, and others are right about the gambling exploits of Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and is just the tip of the iceberg. If it is, the feeling is that by Thanksgiving we'll hear more coming down. And if more comes down, then it gives the NCAA leeway to eliminate this stupidity. If more doesn't come down, then it will be forgotten. Truthfully, it's probably already forgotten. No, really. I don't see where the NBA has had to react to this at all. Now, I do believe on Halloween, I think it's Halloween, that Adam Silver is going in front of a subcommittee in Congress. But here's the deal with that. I've watched enough of these committees. You know what this is? This is posturing. This is all this is. Who's ever on the side of Silver will posture for him loud. Whoever's on the opposite side of Silver will posture against him loud. I've watched so many of these. Josh Hawley's great in these. Kennedy, John Kennedy, I think it's John Kennedy or Rob Kennedy. I don't know, one of them Kennedys from Louisiana. He's awesome in this. But some of these ladies and some of these dudes on the left, man, they're insane. AOC's nuts with this. She gets made to be an idiot every time but just yells over. So that's what this is. They're not saying yes. They're not saying no. And they're saying we're going to push this and clear the zone. That's what Lee and I do when we're driving. She's like, hey, if we go on a trip, I go, look, let me drive. She wants to drive during the daytime. I said, let me drive. Let me clear the zone. Clear the zone. Clear Indy. Clear. Just get on the road. This is clearing the zone. It is. I'm sorry. It is. So there you go. That's what I think of this decision. It's a decision that, were it to be said indefinitely, I think, they're going to change it. But when they gave a date, November 22nd, well, frankly, that date tells me they're going to go ahead and do this. They're just trying to do it a little quieter.